fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. When law and order had been established in the western United States, the masked rider of the plains still continued his fight for justice. But instead of outlaws and hostile Indians, he directed his efforts against the unscrupulous men who used the law itself to rob the honest farmers and ranchers. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're heading for Wolf Creek Valley! Ho, Silver! Away!
Elderly Job Turner slowly studied each member of the small group gathered in Banker Gould's office. His eyes finally came to rest on Tom Bevins, a lawyer, and a man who was just about Job's own age.
Tom.
Yes, Job?
Tom, I'm going to tell you something and tell it to you straight. You're the only man here whose word I'd trust. I needn't get mad about it, gents, because it's so. I'm not of a mind to hide it. I've known Tom for quite a spell. Fact is, we come west together when we was just young fellas. He took to the law, and I took to farming. But we've stayed pretty good friends for all that. Ain't that so, Tom?
It is, Job.
And friends don't never do anything to hurt the other.
You don't trust me, Job?
I do trust you. That's just what I'm getting at. Now, you and your partners here claim you're forming a syndicate to run cattle in Rainy Valley.
That's right.
And to do that same, you have to get me and a dozen others farming in the valley to leave. You're offering us an even trade. You say for every acre we own in Rainy Valley, you'll give us an acre in Wolf Creek Valley. Have you got it straight?
You have, Job. And I don't need to tell you that the land in Wolf Creek Valley is far better farming land than we are now.
I'll talk to Tom if you don't mind, Mr. Gould. We savvy each other. Tom, I ain't no fool. You brought me here because if you can convince me this is a good deal, then the other farmers will take my word for it.
They've always followed your lead, Job.
And I've always tried to lead them the way that was best for them. Now, I'm putting it up to you as one friend to another. Do you say we ought to make the trade?
I do.
Then that's good enough for me. I know you wouldn't tell me wrong. Gents?
Well?
We'll trade. You understand, of course, that I'm speaking only for myself. But I reckon the others will be willing if I am.
That's why we wanted to speak to you first, Job. You'll speak to the others soon?
There's before the week's out. Now, if there ain't anything else, I guess I'd better be running along.
There's nothing.
Well, good day to you, gents.
Good day.
Bye, Tom.
Job.
Yeah, Tom?
I...
Huh?
Oh, nothing, Job, nothing. I thought of something, but it doesn't matter.
Well, you'll be hearing from me, Jim.
Good. Tom, what did you start to say to Turner?
Nothing.
Didn't begin to have an attack of conscience, did you?
Gould, Job told you the truth. We've been friends for 40 years. I wish to heaven you'd left me out of this.
You'll feel better about it when you bank your share of the profits.
I wonder if money obtained by cheating a friend is worth the getting.
Tom, in business, friendship doesn't count. That's something I learned long ago. Well, gentlemen, shall we have a drink on this? Thanks to Tom here, we'll shortly be very wealthy men.
As Gould and his friends had expected, the influence of Job Turner was enough to persuade the farmers owning property in Rainy Valley to exchange it for land in Wolf Creek Valley. A month later, the exchange had already been effected. And when the Lone Ranger and his faithful Indian companion Tonto rode into the valley, they saw a dozen newly erected homes at widely spaced intervals.
This is strange, Tonto. Oh, heaps strange. There's another new place. I wonder why anyone would choose to buy property in Wolf Valley at this time. Me not know. There must be newcomers to the district who didn't know any better. Maybe. I think I'll find out about this, Kimosabe. What we do? See that woman who just left the house? She's going to the well. I'd like to ask her a few questions. You wear a mask. It won't take long to show her we're not outlaws. Come, get 'em up, Skull. Come on, Silver. Come on, boy. Hello there!
Outlaws!
Don't be frightened. Oh, Silver. Let's go.
Joe, come quick, it's crooks!
I told you we're not crooks.
I seen him, Laura. Up with your hands, both of you. Raise your hands before I let you have both barrels.
You're Job Turner.
Know me, do you? Well, then you know when I say a thing, I mean business. Heist your hands, blast you. Laura, stand out of the way.
You won't fire.
I will if you don't do like you're told.
We rode here for just one reason.
To rob us if you figured you could.
No. To find out why anyone in his senses would choose a time like this to farm Wolf Creek Valley.
And why shouldn't we?
Well, just what kind of farming country will this be after the dam is built?
Dam? What dam is that?
Don't you talk to him, Laura. I'll handle the critter. Stranger, just what do you figure you're talking about?
You certainly know about the dam and the reservoir that's going to be built at the head of the creek, don't you?
You must be loco. If any such thing was planned, I'd have heard about it.
It's known at the state capitol. Tonto and I just came from there.
And you claim you heard talk like that?
We did. The entire project settled. The syndicate got permission to dam the creek for irrigation purposes. Part of Rainy Valley will be used as a reservoir. The syndicate figures that the semi-desert land beyond Rainy Valley can be made into farming country and sold for high prices if it can be watered.
But that'd mean the creek would be diverted.
Of course.
Without the creek, the land here wouldn't be hardly worth anything.
You just the same as said that Tom Bevins tricked me.
Is Bevins a friend of yours?
The best I got.
He had something to do with your settling here?
It was on his say-so that I traded the land I had in Rainy Valley for this land here.
Well, then he did trick you. He's a member of the syndicate I mentioned. The banker in town is the head of it. Gould is his name, I understand.
Why, you...
Job, I'm sorry you had to learn the truth like this. If I'd known Bevins was supposed to be your friend, I'd have found another way to break the news. Nevertheless, what I've told you is true. Evidently, Gould and his partners have seen fit to keep it secret for the present. If you doubt my word, however, you can investigate for yourself.
It's a lie. Everything you've said is a lie. I don't know what your game is, but whatever it is, you ain't getting away with it. Tom wouldn't do a thing like this to me. I know it.
As I said, you'd better investigate for yourself. Come, Tonto.
Get him up, Stone.
Silver! Away!
Wait! What was their idea? What did they figure to gain by a story like that?
Job.
Huh?
I don't want you to get mad at me, Joe, but it seemed to me that masked man at least thought he was telling the truth.
You mean to say you're doubting Tom? After all the things he's done for us?
No, but don't you think you ought to find out what
I'll find out.
Joe, what are you going to do?
I'm riding to town. I'm riding to town and calling on Tom. He'll tell me the truth. And when he has, I'm going to apologize for doubting him even enough to ask.
The elderly lawyer was not alone in his office. The banker had called on him, and they were studying a map spread out on Tom Bevan's desk.
Look here, Tom. Look at this basin here. 200,000 acres in there that we bought for practically nothing. We build our dam, and every acre in that basin will be worth 100 times what we paid for it.
Yes.
What's the matter? You don't sound as though becoming a rich man interested you very much.
I'm not sure it does.
Job Turner bothering you?
I told you he's always been my friend.
Well, what would you have done? Told them our plans? Let them hold us up for their property?
It would have been more honest.
Honest, huh? Tom, what's got into you?
You want to know? Well, then I'll tell you. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of every cheating trick I've helped you put across. I wish I'd never met you. I wish when you first came to me, I'd told you that I would...
Just a moment. I can break you just as easily as I made you.
I imagine you could.
Tom, what would a man of your age do if I did break you?
I could make out.
Not here, Tom. Not here. Not in this county. I'm not even sure I'd let you stay inside the state. You know me well enough to realize that I could keep you from practicing in this state, don't you, Tom?
This is a threat, huh?
Oh, we won't put it like that. I'm just saying what could happen if you were, foolish. Of course, I know you won't be. Not when you've thought it over.
All right, Gould. I'm no fool. I know when I'm licked. Let's not talk about it anymore.
That's better. Now you're sounding like yourself again. What the... Well, if it isn't Job Turner. Good afternoon, Job.
Tom.
Hello, Job.
Tom, I just heard something. I come to you because I knew you'd tell me the truth.
Yes?
Just give me a yes or no. Are you and Banker Gould here planning to dam Wolf Creek, or ain't you? Answer it straight. Well, Tom, what's the matter? Can't you answer me?
Tongue-tied, Tom? Tell him. He has to know sometime.
It's true, Job.
Tom. Oh, you can't mean
Look,
it.
Job, it was just business. I was afraid you might misunderstand, but there wasn't anything actually crooked about it. You know I
So
wouldn't
the
do
masked man was telling the truth.
Masked man? What masked man?
None of your doggone business. Tom, I don't savvy this. I always thought we was friends. And...
We are friends, Job. We are.
When you
friends.
lied to me? When you stood right there in Banker Gould's office and said all you wanted our land for was to run cattle on it? And you, Gould. I'm telling you something.
Me?
Yes, you. After I'm through telling about this stunt, you'd better make tracks. You'll find this part of the country doggone unhealthy.
Job, as a matter of fact, you aren't going to say one word after you leave this office.
That's what you think. I'll
If
show
you do, Job, you'll find yourself in a far worse fix than Tom and I will.
How do you figure that?
Yeah. Just take a look at these. If you tear them up, remember the originals are on file with the county clerk.
What?
Go on, read them.
Well, these are forged. I never seen these before.
No, and just how will you prove it? You'll have to admit that's a pretty fair imitation of your signature.
You rotten skunk.
Gould, what are those papers?
Oh, just something I thought might come in handy if Job threatened to get out of hand. That's a deed to 1,000 acres in the basin. After the dam's constructed, that 1,000 acres will represent quite a sum of money. If Job talks out of turn, his friends might think we gave him that land to pay him for persuading them to make the trade.
That's the dirtiest trick I ever heard of.
You mean the cleverest, don't you, Tom?
Well, you've made it look as though I was bribed to sell out my friends.
Exactly.
I won't stand for it.
What chance have you got? Open your mouth, Job. And if I understand the people around here, you'll be the first one to be lynched.
Hey, Job, don't. You can't shoot him. You want to hang for sure.
Let go of my arm.
No, Job, no, you can't. Don't be a fool,
I'll
man.
fix this skunk. I'll get him.
You come with me.
Mask.
What? Come along with you, Job.
Let go of me. Let go of my arm. You can't take me.
Gould, who was that man?
I'm not sure, but... What the...
You know him?
The Lone Ranger.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. continue our story. Although Job fought to get free, the masked man raced out of town with his prisoner, not drawing rein until they had reached the well-hidden camp where Tonto waited.
Oh, Silver. Oh, boy. Oh, there.
I want to get back to town. I got a score to settle with them polecats.
Don't be a fool, Job.
But they've cheated
Tom
me.
Bevins did tell the truth for once. You shot the banker, you'd hang just as surely as you're here at this moment.
So I'm just to let them get away with this?
Is your only way of stopping them by using a gun?
What other way is there?
There may be one.
Yeah, what?
Bevins.
Huh?
No matter what may have happened, you and Tom Bevins were once good friends. That's true, isn't it?
Would have trusted Tom with my life. But that just makes it all the worse.
I was outside Bevins' office before you arrived there.
You was?
And I heard the conversation between him and Gould.
Yeah? What did they have to say?
Bevins wanted to wash his hands of the whole affair. He couldn't, however, because he feared Gould's threats.
Is that the truth?
It is. You see, this is most likely the first time Bevins has had to carry out a scheme that would hurt one of his friends. And he's discovered it isn't pleasant. Some men are like that, Job. As long as they can't see the suffering their clever schemes cause, they're not bothered. But when one of those schemes strikes close to home, it's another matter.
Well, that ain't no help.
You think it isn't?
I don't see how.
I wonder if Gould isn't overconfident. Bevins has carried out his orders for so many years that it's difficult for Gould to think he might turn on him.
You mean...
That I'm keeping an eye on Tom Bevins. And I may even pay him a call. And in the meantime, don't give up hope that all this will be straightened out.
When the folks that traded their land in Rainy Valley find out what's been going on, there's going to be trouble.
You're not at fault.
But they traded and might say so.
Because you trusted the word of a man you thought to be your friend. That's no crime.
That deed to land in the basin, it'll make it look as though I was bribed.
Don't expect trouble until it arrives. And don't make trouble when it isn't necessary.
Well...
I mean that. Tonto will take you back to town where we left your horse. Before he does, I want your word that you'll head straight home afterwards and attend strictly to business. Leave this other matter to Tonto and me.
You're going to try and help?
We are.
Well, you'll likely do a better job of it than I could. Sure, stranger. I'll give you the promise you ask. I won't make no trouble at all.
Good. Tonto, saddle Scout. Then take Job into town.
That evening, Tom Bevins was sitting alone in the library of his home when his wife opened the door and...
Tom,
Huh? Oh, it's you, Millie. What is it you want?
may I come in?
I told you I didn't want to be disturbed.
I know, Tom, but I've been worrying about you.
About me? What for?
Well, you've been acting so strange.
Nonsense. It's your imagination.
After I've lived with you for 30 years, Tom, I think I know you well enough by this time to understand when something's on your mind.
There's nothing, I tell you.
Is it something you can't tell me?
I said it's nothing.
Tell me about it.
I tell you that.
Please.
Will you get out of here and leave me alone?
Tom,
Well?
haven't you told me your troubles before this and felt better for it? Why can't you share them with me now?
Because I don't want to.
Then there is something wrong.
No, I just meant... That is... Oh, don't you think it's bad enough without you pestering me on top of it?
I can't know until you've confided in me.
I tell you that...
Please, Tom, please.
All right, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the whole truth, and then we'll see what you have to say.
Yes?
I've tricked and cheated Job Turner. Oh, you needn't look at me like that. It's true, all right. I cheated him because Gould ordered me to. Cheated and tricked the best friend I ever had in my life. Now, what do you think of me?
You don't know what you say.
Get out.
But why did
Can't you see I don't want anyone around? Can't you see I've got to think this out by myself? Leave me alone. Leave me alone, I tell you.
Of course, Tom, if you really wish it. And, dear,
Well,
when you're ready to tell me the rest, I'll be waiting. Just outside.
how can I tell her everything? Or face Job again, or face anyone? I'm a crook. A crook who'd sell out his best friends. I wish I had the nerve to finish things the way they should be finished. If I had a gun here,
Is it a
I'd...
gun you want, Bevins?
What?
Or courage?
Where are you? Who?
I'm at the window here.
The masked man.
I'm coming in. Don't call out.
What do you want with me?
How do you like yourself, Bevins? How do you like the thought of living out the rest of your life knowing yourself to be a cheat?
You. What do you know about me? What do you...
Quite a bit.
But how do you...
I've been watching you. I know exactly what you're going through.
You don't. You can't. Nobody can.
I'm going to give you a chance
Huh? A chance?
to straighten yourself out. You'll take it, Bevins, or regret that you didn't the rest of your life.
Almost a week passed. Tom Bevins had mysteriously disappeared from town, and even Banker Gould didn't know what had become of him. Then startling news reached the town.
Fellas, quiet down a second. Listen to me. The farmers that moved into Wolf Creek Valley were tricked. There's going to be a dam built, and the creek's going to be changed. But that ain't all. They were sold out by the fella that leads them, by Job Turner, and he was give 1,000 acres of land to do it.
You hear about Job? He sold out to Banker Gould for 1,000 acres of land.
I tell you, it's a fact. See the county clerk if you don't believe it. Job sold out the farmers. It's the crookedest deal I ever heard of.
The banker couldn't have put it across if it hadn't been for Job.
Come on, let's ride out to his place and see what he's got to say for himself.
Go on.
Now, what are we waiting for? Come on, fellas. Let's ride.
It was Job's wife who first saw the angry crowd of farmers and townsmen who approached Job's place later that day. She turned from the window and called to her husband.
Job. Come here quick, Job.
Huh? What's the matter, Laura?
Look out the window here.
What is it? Well, I'll be...
Job, what in the world do you think they're heading here for?
Gosh, I don't know.
Just listen.
Sure sound mad enough.
You ain't done nothing you shouldn't have you, Job? You ain't got into any trouble, have you?
Only that deal I was telling you about, Laura. Well, that's it. That has to be it. Laura, somehow they found out about that deed the banker forged.
No, how would they?
By looking through the records of the county seat, that's how. Quick, give me my shotgun. It's hanging in the kitchen.
You're not going to try and fight him off, are you?
What else can I do? Now, hurry up.
You can't. You wouldn't have a chance. You better try to get away. Maybe you can get...
I'll get the gun myself if you won't. What chance would I have making a run for it in that old horse I got? Now, you stay back here. I'll tend to these fellas.
Be careful, Job. Please be careful.
It's them that had better be careful.
There he is. He's got a gun.
I reckon he knows what we're here for, all right.
What do you fellas want?
And if you didn't know.
I suppose you don't know anything about that deed for 1,000 acres that Banker Gould give you. I suppose he didn't give it to you to get you to persuade us to trade land with him.
That deed's a forgery.
Oh, you'd say that. We wouldn't expect you to say anything else.
On account of you, the land we got ain't going to be worth anything. You told us it was a fair trade, and we was fools enough to believe
I
you.
thunder you idiots will shut up and listen to me.
Oh, who's going to make it?
You either listen or start dodging buckshot.
Well, what have you got to say?
Fellas, maybe you won't believe me. When I was tricked just like you was. I took Tom Bevan's word for the trade being honest, because he'd always been my friend. It wasn't until afterwards that I found out that he was in on the scheme. I was to blame, all right, but only because it took Tom's word for things. Not because I stood to profit by the trick.
That don't explain that deed they gave you. It was to pay you for lying to us, and you know it.
We seen your name on it.
And they didn't give you that land for nothing.
Anybody that'd sell us out the way you did should get strung up on the nearest tree.
Which is just what you're going to get.
Stand back, I'm warning you. Stand back.
Rush him. He won't dare to fire. Grab him, Bill. Come on, after us. All right,
Let him go. Let him go. Don't you dare touch him. Don't you let him go.
Hey, who fired them shots?
Look there. It was a masked man.
There's Banker Gould with him.
They're redskin.
Ain't that Tom Bevins alone? And who's that other fella?
Hey, it's a U.S. Marshal.
Right him up. Get away from there. One side. Try to stop us, we'll blast our way through. And the banker and Tom are in on this just as much as Job. Let's take care of them all at once. All right. Come on.
First man to reach for his gun is under arrest. The U.S. Marshal.
Quiet! We heard in town what was happening. That's why the marshal and I brought Gould and Bevins with us. You think that Job sold you out. He didn't. And you're going to hear the truth right now.
He did. I gave Job that land to get his friends to move out of the valley.
Gould, you can talk later, if you'll be able to find anyone willing to listen to you. Right now, Tom Bevins has something to say.
But I
Keep
tell you...
still. Bevins, go on and talk. I'll guarantee they'll listen.
Men, it isn't easy for me to say this, but every word is the truth. I was in on the deal with Banker Gould. That's how I know. Job didn't sell you out. That deed was forged. It was Banker Gould's scheme to make Job afraid to tell how he'd been tricked. Job couldn't help this any more than you men could.
Maybe you're telling the truth, Bevins, and maybe you ain't. But that ain't giving us back our land.
That's so. How about the dam?
Are they going to get away with changing the creek?
If the dam's built, our land won't be worth nothing.
That's right.
The dam won't be built. Not unless you want it to be. That's why Bevins has been gone this last week. He and I rode to the state capitol. Gould got permission to build the dam by fraud. He lied about conditions here. Said that no one would suffer. Promised that the dam would be used for the good of the community. He depended upon his influence to take care of any objections that might arise later.
What do you mean by saying the dam won't be built less than we want it?
After Bevins' testimony, the governor revoked Gould's right to build the dam. He said, however, that if the farmers of the district wanted it, they could build it themselves.
A lot of good that'd do us with Gould and his pards owning all the land that'd be irrigated.
I think Job can take care of that. Job.
Yes?
How about making a trade with Gould? Bevins can prove your name was forged to that deed. Gould will go to jail if you prosecute. But why not drop the prosecution on the condition that land is divided equally among the farmers of the county?
I won't do it. Nobody can make
Very well, then. Take him off to jail, Marshal.
You bet I will. No, wait. Let go of me. Joe, tell the marshal to let go.
Well, you heard the masked man. What do you say?
I don't want to be jailed.
It's up to you. I'll make a deal if you will.
You promise?
Turn over that land, and you can go free.
Then I'll do it.
Tom?
I know what you're going to say, Job. I know the way you must hate me.
Shucks, Tom. Don't be any more of an idiot than you are already.
Huh?
You went to the state capitol and fixed things up. No matter what you done at first, you made it all straight in the end. And I don't hold grudges. I say let's forget all this and be friends again. Huh?
Gladly, Job. But it wasn't me who did this. It was the masked man.
Oh, Silver! Away!
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.